Hello, Mr. Galdames and classmates. We are Hamilton Arevalo, Ingrid Abrego, and Eti Sergueta. This presentation is about the lexical approach as a teaching proposal. It focuses on blocks of words and real patterns of use, more than on isolated grammar rules. We are going to talk about its origin, main authors, main characteristics, strengths, and weaknesses, and how it is used today. We also suggest classroom activities and evaluation ideas to use this approach effectively.
The lexical approach started in the early 1990s, mainly thanks to Michael Lewis. He noticed that people do not build sentences from zero using grammar rules or single words. Instead, they use combination of words that already exist. The main idea is that brains can store short phrases instead of processing complex grammar rules. These are called chunks or blocks of the language, such as collection, fixed phrase, and idioms. For example, collocation, make a decision, heavy rain, fixed phrases, on the other hand, has a matter of fact, idioms, piece of cake, break the ice. This approach appears as a reaction against teaching focused only on grammar rules. It wanted English classes to be closer to the real use of the language. In fact, Lewis was inspired by linguistic research that showed how language corporate big databases of real spoken and written English demonstrate that frequent words combinations are more common than isolated grammar construction. This discovery was revolutionary for teaching because it proved that fluency it is not just knowing rules, but also knowing chunks.
As my classmates say, the lexical approach has roots in corpus linguistics, but it was explained and popularized in ELT by Michael Lewis, 1993-1995, main founder of the approach. He said fluency depends on partners and collocations. Pauli and Saire, 1983, they showed that fluency depends more on ready-made phrases and frequent use, not just grammar rules. Naringer and Carrico, 1992, they introduced ideas of lexical phrases and formalic sequences showing the importance of learning ready-to-use blocks of language. Norbert Smith, 1998 and 2000, studied how learners gain and process chunks and collocations. Michael Huey, in 2004, created the lexical priming theory, which explained how vocabulary is activated in discourse. Richards and Rogers in 2001, they did not create the approach, but they organized and analyzed it in their methodology books. We can also mention that research emphasized the physiological side of learning. For example, Swimish studied how memory works with collocation, and how he explained that every time we hear a word, our brain primes it with certain other words. That means our brain expects words to appear together, which is why teaching collocation helps the student predict language and sound more natural.
Main characteristic of the lexical approach. It's language as a ready-made expression, not only grammar and vocabulary. The goal is to help the students sound more fluent and natural by using collocation, make a mistake, fix and phrase on the other hand, and idioms. Instead of teaching rules directly, it promotes noticing. Students observe and discover lexical patterns in real text. Grammar learning inside these chunks, making learning more natural and less as abstract. Comparison with other methods. Grammar translation focuses on memorizing rules. The lexical approach focuses on use of word combinations. Communicative approach also wants communication, but the lexical approach gives more importance to real-life expression that people use. This method is important in ESL teaching because it provides students with authentic expression they will actually hear and use in real conversation, making their learning more practical and meaningful. Another key characteristic is that it changes the role of the teacher. Instead of only explaining rules, the teacher becomes a facilitator who exposes students to real text, highlight collocation, and help students build a lexical notebooks. This encourages autonomy and active learning. In conclusion, this approach values vocabulary and lexical partners more, helping students communicate in a natural and effective way.
For its strengths, we are help fluency in natural communication, teaches useful expression for real life, promote noticing and learning grammar implicitly, use authentic materials, make learning more meaningful. For weaknesses, if used alone, it can ignore explicit grammar, hard to measure process with traditional tests, need authentic material and well-prepared teachers. Learning many chunks can be overwhelming, lack a clear progression plan for teaching. An extra strength is that it motivates learning because they quickly recognize expression they hear in movies, songs, or conversation. This gives them confidence and shows them that English is alive and practical. On the other hand, a weakness is that beginners may struggle if they don't have a basic grammar foundation. Therefore, many teachers recommend combining the approach with other. In my opinion, the lexical approach is one of the most useful modern methods, unlike others that focus too much on grammar rules. This one gives learners the tools to communicate naturally and fluency, which is what most students really need.
The lexical approach is not a stricter or dominant method, but it has influenced in English teaching a lot. Today, it's a really used alone. Instead, its principles are mixed with modern methods, like the communicate approach or task-based learning, and many modern textbooks include collocation boxes, phrasing banks, and common expression sections, inspired by this approach. With digital tools and corpora, it's easier to show how words combine naturally. Even if it's not used as an independent method, it's a principle